Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Becky, and we're parents to 2 little kids. Parenting isn't always easy. There are ups and downs, good days and bad days, days with way too much TV, and days with lots of laughter. Moments where you just feel overwhelmed, and moments where you've never felt more proud.
At the end of the day, parenting is super rewarding, but also super hard. This podcast is for all the parents out there who feel like they have no idea what they're doing, because we're right there with you. This is the Spillproof podcast.
Welcome back, everyone. It's been a minute.
A little bit.
It has.
Like 3 months, minute?
3 to 4 months. Yes.
It's been a long time.
It has. But you know, these things, they ebb and they flow, and we're ready to get back into it.
We are. Actually, you know, the reason why we haven't been doing this mainly is because we've been doing a ton of other things.
Mm-hmm.
That's
been
the real
very
reason.
Busy.
And sick.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if anyone else with toddlers or just small children has been sick for the last 2 months straight, but we sure have.
Yep.
So.
With a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Including
the big one.
Yeah. We finally got it.
Finally got COVID. We'll talk about that.
On a different podcast?
On a different podcast.
On a different podcast.
Yes.
Another one coming up.
Yeah.
Our next couple podcasts are going to be out of order, mainly just because one of our more bigger trips, we need to organize our thoughts before we do this, because there's a lot to go over.
Mm-hmm.
So what we decided to do is we decided to pick one of our smaller trips that we took in our 3 to 4 month hiatus.
Yes. But a more recent trip.
Yeah. This was what, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, it was only about 2 weeks ago. 2-3 weeks?
Yeah.
2-3 weeks. And we kind of decided the week
spur of the
before
moment?
we went
Yeah.
that we were going to do it.
It really wasn't a ton of thought put into it. It was really more of just like, oh man, we just got back from this one trip. I kind of want to do another trip.
Yeah.
Or I kind of wish we were still there.
We were in like trip withdrawal. And so we did just a weekend getaway with the kids.
Yeah. To a place we'd never been to before.
Nope. We went to Hershey Park.
We did.
We did.
Which isn't super far away from us. It's not exactly close, but...
What was it? 4
4
and
hours?
a half? It's about 4.5 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went there early. We went there on a Saturday morning. We left pretty early.
Yeah, and we had gotten a new car.
We bought a new car for this trip.
Primarily because our old car made Dave and I so car sick.
Yeah.
That if we drove in it for longer, honestly, anytime we drove in it.
To the grocery store.
We would get car sick. But if we drove in it for any length of time, I felt sick and car sick for the entire day.
Mm-hmm. On our last big trip, we had to drive an hour to get to the airport, and you got car sick because I was driving.
Yeah.
Not because I was driving. It was because the car made you car sick.
Yeah.
I just was driving, so I didn't get car sick. Let me just rephrase that. It wasn't my driving that made you car sick.
Sometimes your driving makes me car sick.
Only when I intentionally try to do it. So, and we had two flights to get to our destination on that trip, and you were sick for the entire first flight.
Mm-hmm. And half of the second
half
flight.
of the second flight.
Yeah.
You had motion sickness.
Yeah.
Which is insane. And that was like the solidifying fact that this isn't going to work.
Yeah. And we were going to use this weekend trip as a final indicator as to whether we should or should not replace this car. And then the week of, we were like, why are we doing this?
This is a
Let's
stupid
just
idea.
Get it,
we knew what was going to happen. We were just trying to justify
that
keeping
you
this
or
car.
I were going to get so car sick and then not be able to enjoy the weekend.
And so here's the thing. The car was a good buy. It was a very safe car. And we actually had quite a bit of memories in it too, which I mean, specifically me, I remember bringing Owen home in it and Emily.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have the van at that point. And that kind of stopped me from wanting to get rid of it originally. But that's not practical. You don't hold on to something like that because of those.
I didn't even think of that.
What?
I never even thought that, like, oh, this is the car that we brought.
Do you have any regrets now?
No. And I also feel like you got that from Bluey.
What?
Because Chili says that when they bring the new car over to Bandits and not Chili. What's the
Frisky?
Frisky
No,
says
not
it.
Frisky. Trixie.
Trixie says it when
To Stripe.
Yeah, Stripe brings over the car to show everyone, and she's like, "I
No,
miss the old car. We brought the girls home."
You're thinking of that because that's one of the most recent episodes in this current season.
Also,
but
Dave's just
we had talked about
Bluey. What?
A ton of people are. A ton of people are obsessed with Bluey. So I feel no guilt over that. I definitely belong to a couple Facebook groups for that. But anyways, so I had thought about that before this episode. And that was actually one of the things that I had thought about. And then it made absolutely the more we talked about it, the more it's like, well, if one of us drives it and the other one doesn't, or we're just going like a place with the kids, but when do we ever go anywhere with both kids? Who wants to go somewhere with two kids and not another parent to back them up?
Yeah.
That stinks.
I mean, a lot of people have to do that, but we're just lucky that we get backup a lot.
But if you had the option of being like, no, I don't want to go because I don't want to get car sick, or you could have backup.
Yeah. No. So we got a new car. We got a Honda Pilot, and it's blue.
Yes, but we had to fabricate is the right word. Embellish.
We just
fictionalize some things.
We just gave it a loving story.
Owen had some problems with us. He loves cars to the extent that that's like all he thinks about. And not just real cars, like specifically like Pixar cars, Ice cars, he calls them. But he was having an emotional problem letting go of that car.
Yeah. Anytime we brought it up, like full, no, I love silver car.
But he was like, we could add more originally. He's like, we could get more.
Get more, but we couldn't get rid of any.
And then when it got closer to when it was getting serious, he's like, no, I don't want more cars. I just want these cars.
Mm-hmm. He was
silver
really
car,
attached.
Silver car, Newt, and Van.
Yeah, so one day, as we were pretty close, I told him, or I asked him, I said, Bud, would it be okay?
It was the day before.
It was the day before. Literally the day before. I was like, would it be okay if Mom and Dad took Silver Car to the car doctor and we helped him grow up and we helped him get a little bit bigger, maybe change his color to blue because that's your favorite color. And then because he's bigger, he's growing up, we'll add some more seats. And he was cool with that. He was
super cool about it. And it's funny because he actually, and it was again, another huge meltdown issue, but we brought him to go look at cars on a weekend because we thought that'd be fun. He'd be able to look at the cars and stuff like that. And it wasn't. He had a full-blown meltdown. But that was one of the cars that he saw. So it's interesting that of his really good memory that he has, he didn't remember that, which is interesting.
Or did he? And he was just like, okay. I don't know. Did he trick himself? I don't know.
He might have talked himself into it. Yeah. But either way, he definitely
was totally good with it.
Was good with it. And it's a fantastic car.
And what did he name it? How do you not remember?
Poot.
Poot.
We have Newt, Poot, and Toot.
Yes. So we have a car that it's like Dave's dream car. One of Dave's dream cars.
Yeah. There's
and
many.
Right after we got engaged, he got it and we named it Newt.
Mm-hmm.
And then Owen has now dubbed the blue Honda as Poot and our black van as Toot. It's
extremely hard to keep them straight.
So easy. Newt, Toot, and Poot.
Yeah, but I can't remember who's Poot.
Blue is Poot.
I always have to say it every single time to think about it. Anyway, so we took that van that van. We took that car down.
Yep.
And it ended up being great.
It was great. Yeah, it didn't get car sick once.
No, got better gas mileage than the other car that took premium.
Oh yeah, we did. Oh yeah, and the gas is so much less expensive.
Yeah,
the other car took premium gas. It was nuts.
So overall, we're glad we made that change. Mm-hmm. And it was a great way to break in a new car, too. Yeah. The only thing that kind of stunk is it didn't do great in the rain, but that's more the tires more than anything.
Yeah.
There was one
I
time
didn't drive in the rain, but...
Yeah, we hydroplaned once in the rain coming back. It was pretty heavy, but that's really tires more than the car itself.
Yeah.
But anyways, we went to Hershey Park.
Yeah, and I would say we got up so early. We got up at 5.
Yeah, it was pretty
we
early.
Were like pretty much out the door between 5 and 5:30.
Yeah, we thought that the kids would fall asleep in the car, and
they did eventually.
Did they?
Yeah, they did eventually.
Okay.
They did. They didn't fall asleep right away, but eventually they both passed out.
All right, I couldn't quite remember.
Yeah, it wasn't very long, but I think or did they? No, they did.
I feel like they didn't. I feel like
Maybe
we thought they did, and
maybe they didn't.
This is only a couple weeks ago, and it's hard to remember.
Or maybe it was only for like
it wasn't
like they
long.
dozed. Like if they did, it was 10 minutes.
They did take naps during the ride. They fell asleep twice during the drive down. I feel like maybe not necessarily in that
That's
time.
What I'm
frame.
talking about.
I thought you were talking about when we got in the car during their normal sleep cycle before 7 o'clock when they would have woken up.
No, I mean like during the 4 hours they fell asleep, right?
They fell asleep a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah. Often they were like one and the other.
Yeah.
Emily doesn't really sleep well in the car.
Yeah, she didn't sleep well, but I think Owen got at least a half hour, I want to say.
Yeah, because we woke him up pretty early.
Yeah.
But they knew where we were going too, which was cool.
Yeah.
So they were like excited about it.
They were excited. We told them we were going to, originally we said.
Chocolate Disney?
Chocolate Disney. And then Owen said, no, it's not that. It's Hershey Park.
We had watched some YouTube videos on it just to like get them to understand what we were going to see coming off of our other trip. So
yeah. So right now at Hershey, it's not open every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so the park was going to open at 2 o'clock. It was open from like 2 o'clock to I think 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like a special Halloween thing. So we weren't planning on going to the park until 2.
Mm-hmm.
So when we got there, we went right to Hershey World.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had lunch reservations at the Chocolatier.
Mm-hmm. And it was, the Hershey World is like kind of like a giant store with a food court and a dark ride.
Yeah.
And you can make your own chocolate.
Way bigger than I thought it was going to be.
It was huge.
I think it might have been my favorite part.
Chocolate World?
Chocolate World.
Chocolate World was very cool. And the ride, they loved the ride.
They loved the ride.
They were so, I mean, both of them don't have a great history of dark rides.
Mm-hmm.
And I would consider this a dark ride.
Yeah.
And they were like feeling it. They were loving it. They were
like
dancing.
Emmy was dancing at one point.
And it's unfortunate because I don't know if it had just opened or what, but when we got on it, there was no line.
Yeah.
And I was actually thinking we should go back through and walk through the queue line again to do it again. But by the time that we got off, the queue line was like, you could see it lining up. Yeah. And it was a long queue line from the start. So.
And then once we got off, it was like, I think it was like a track and field team.
Which
is like huge.
Mm-hmm.
They came in and got in. So we never would have been able to ride again. But
no.
But it was worth it. It was so fun. They loved it.
And it's like an 8-minute ride. It's a pretty long ride.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent ride. But it was fun to like look at all the merchandise, and it was broken out by like Hershey Kiss, Hershey Bar, Reese's, and then just like all the
Twizzlers.
Twizzlers.
It was cool because they had a lot of stuff that you don't like. I'm sure it's international because international candy is like weird flavors, but they had like
every flavor.
Was it Twix or was it Twizzlers that we were gonna get and we forgot because they're in this like
they were in
off corner.
The side.
But they had like key lime pie, and Becky loves key lime pie.
But we didn't get it. Do you hear that, Chrissy?
I was gonna say unless you talk to her sister.
Lime pie, not lemon meringue pie. Side note, for the wondering what just happened, my sister's son did like a pie sale.
Fundraiser?
A fundraiser, yeah. And he called up
fundraiser?
Fundraiser?
I don't know. I literally just watched the episode of The Office where we got Peacock again.
A fundraiser.
Of where they threw a fundraiser.
Instead of a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he called up and was like, hey, do you want to buy some pies? And I was like, sure, I'll buy some pies. Do you have key lime pie? Because that's my favorite. And they said, yeah, sure, we'll get you a key lime pie. And then I was going to get 2 and be greedy, but then we changed it to 1 key lime pie and 1 chocolate so I could be a good mom.
And then it's from a really good bakery around, too.
Very good bakery, yeah.
So these are like those kind of pies where you pick them up and you're like, oh, man, this is a heavy
like
pie. It's like a 2-hand kind of pie.
Yeah. So then a couple of days later, we're watching her other son at a football game, and either one of them says, "Oh yeah, we have your lemon meringue pie." And my sister straight up tried to convince me that I was the crazy one. And even Dave came over and he was like, no, she would never say lemon meringue pie. No. It's key lime pie. But
you asked me, you blind asked me like what
I know,
we
I
ordered.
was like, did I say, yeah, I was like, what did we order? And it was key lime pie and chocolate pie. And there is no key lime pie.
Oh, did it turn out there was none?
There's no key lime pie. And we still don't have either pie.
We didn't technically pay for either one.
We didn't pay for it yet, so
there is that.
I mean, it's a scam. They don't have any key lime pie.
Listen, if we go to the bakery and we find a key lime pie there, then we know it's a scam.
Then we know.
Then we know it was the wrong box checks.
Yeah. Anyways, back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
Where
Chocolate
were we?
World.
Chocolate World. Yeah, Chocolate World was
Key lime
so
pie,
cool.
Twizzlers. We forgot to go back to that section.
We forgot because it's like it's tucked away. But we did get hoodies for us.
Yep. They say like Hershey.
A little
Hershey
bucket
Park.
hat for Emmy that's like Hershey Kiss.
So cute.
She loves Hershey
She's
Kisses.
Obsessed now.
And now she loves Miss Kiss, which is like their little
yeah, she
Kiss
has
mascot.
a little Miss Kiss stuffy.
She does. She sleeps with it in her bed.
Yeah.
And Owen got a Cars. He got Cars.
He got cars that
Two
are
things of
like,
Cars.
they say like Hershey stuff on it on the side.
Yeah, he got little pullback ones, like a set of 4, and then like a truck and a trailer.
That's right. He got the truck.
Pulling an old Mustang, Reese's Mustang.
Yeah.
And Emmy got these miscellaneous Halloween candies as soon as we got there, actually.
Oh, yeah. It was like the first thing she picked out.
Oh, and it was a lot.
Yeah. And you sat with them, with the kids, while I went to get us coffee because we desperately needed coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was the one thing that was lackluster was their coffee.
the coffee, it was supposed to be like coffee with Hershey's nibs in it.
It just tasted like straight
It just
coffee.
tasted like I couldn't really, maybe a slight
Even when you got
hint,
down to the bottom,
but-
it wasn't like there was like chocolate on the bottom, like it had sunk to the bottom.
But it was like brewed with it. They didn't put chocolate in it and mix it. It was like,
I thought it was added to
no,
it.
it was brewed with it, I think.
Oh.
But I don't
Either
know.
way,
It
it was
wasn't
disappointing.
It wasn't what we wanted or needed.
No, I would have taken a chocolate energy drink if they would have had
Yeah.
that. That'd actually
Yeah.
be a great idea.
That would be a
Chocolate
great
energy
idea.
drink.
But you were kind of left with Emmy, like having her first sugar high.
She had a legit sugar high. She was dancing. She was bouncing. Owen was playing with his cars and throwing them all over the place. Meanwhile, all these people were like looking, which I don't care. I don't care. At this point, it's been 3 years of people looking at me. But
They were like, "Sir, it's 9:45 in the morning."
yeah, and your child is just hand over fist.
Oh, it's a little bit
shoving
later. It was
chocolate.
like 10:30.
It was too early for that
It
much
was
candy.
too early for them to be shoveling the candy in. But we were like, it's vacation. It's fine.
Yeah, it was, and it was too early for us to go to our hotel too. So we went straight there.
We did. Yeah, we couldn't get into the hotel till like 2 or 3.
Which we found a parking loophole too, which was pretty cool. If you park at Chocolate World before the park opens, you can stay there for free rather than pay for parking.
It's like $25.
Yeah.
So we got free parking
2 days in a row.
2 days, yeah.
Yeah, little hack.
Yeah. And after we explored,
We explored for a
we
while.
explored for a while. Yeah, we took pictures
We did. We
with
did
the
take pictures
Hershey
with the,
not the
They had statues.
They had statues, yeah, not
Yeah.
like the walk around characters, but
and we had kind of like window shopped for what our souvenir was going to be.
yeah. So
They had some really great souvenirs
Mm-hmm.
as far as like designs. It's like their hoodies, their hats, their
Mm-hmm.
like wearables. The colors and everything, they were actually really good. And I think they were a little bit better than Disney's 50th, to be quite honest. However, I mean, I'm wearing a Disney 50th right now.
you are,
I think the quality of Disney's a little bit better,
but the design,
but the designs were better at Hershey, and they were like half the price. I don't think
Yeah.
it was. I don't think Disney stuff is built twice as better.
yeah,
by any means. But you
you're
can feel it in, like,
buying
the cuffs and
Disney
stuff.
logo. Yeah, so once we had done a ton of exploring at Chocolate World, we had a pretty early reservation. I think it was like 11:30 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Lunch reservation at the Chocolatier, which is, I think is it the only sit down restaurant there?
I think it's the only formal sit down because they've got the
restaurant, yeah.
cafeteria
That's
kind of
right,
thing,
yeah.
which is really more of a quick service.
Yeah. So
That's in the park.
we walked up, and you actually have to go through another store.
Yeah. A smaller gift shop, which is
shop.
actually the size that I was thinking that Chocolate World was going to be.
Yeah, but that was like a miniature compared to Chocolate World.
This is like your normal gift shop kind of store.
Yeah. So we ended up, we walk up the stairs.
It's the park gift shop.
It is. It's the park gift shop.
You exit into that.
You walk right out of the park there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And gosh, the one thing about that restaurant was like we had a reservation. We really only waited a little bit, but the kids were like, where we were rating was right at the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
And the kids kept like bolting because they had a sugar high. And I was like, they're going to fall down these stairs.
I will say this though, that they it had metal railings with probably like that normal, whatever the legal gap is, 4 inches, whatever. So the kids couldn't sneak through. But they also had like this screen,
like plexiglass.
I think it was a screen, to be honest.
Okay.
And it prevented them from like throwing things over on the people as they were walking in, and so that was kind of nice too because it stopped them from like falling into the thing. But the one corner we were at, like one corner had it, one corner didn't because it was like blocked by chairs.
And we were like right off the
and then
stairs.
it was stairs. Yeah. So that was a little much.
And then so the restaurant's pretty cool. They have like older park memorabilia. So there was like carousel horses
in the bar, right?
Like in the middle of the bar.
Yeah.
And then there was what almost looked like Tilt-A-Whirl-ish.
Yeah, Tilt-A-Whirl or like a Ferris wheel gondola.
Like a Ferris wheel bucket or something.
Yeah.
But they turned into these like big booths. And our server was walking us to our table and I thought we were going to sit in one. And I got excited and like turned around and was like, guys, look where we're sitting. And then the waitress was like, that's not where we're going. I was like, oh. That
you might have to have like special reservations for that or something. It was very cool.
Yeah, they were cool.
But we were like a party of 4. Like they were made for like 6 or 8.
I know, but I got really excited.
It would have been very cool.
The waitress was like, oh, sorry. I was like, it's my fault. It's okay.
Jumped the gun.
Yeah.
But it was a very nice restaurant. The food was very good.
Yeah, we got what did we get?
Well, we were watching. So before we went, we watched. Was it Paging Mr. Morrow?
Yes, we did.
Where he went, and I think it was like in 2020 or 2021. He had gone, and because the chocolatier is fairly new, and there's like this really cool sampler that we got.
Yeah.
And so the kids got. I think did we get them each a kid meal? No, we only got one.
No, we got 2, and they ate like nothing.
It's always hit and miss with the kids. They either eat everything or they eat nothing.
Yeah, we got Emmy pizza and Owen mac and cheese, and she ate
Owen ate some of the
it.
mac and cheese, and she ate none of the pizza.
None of it.
But what we got was the sampler, and the sampler is awesome. If you haven't looked it up, look it up.
And cool.
It's so cool. So it's served in a Ferris wheel. The only thing about the Ferris wheel is it doesn't actually rotate, but it's still like. I don't know. It's a 2.5 foot Ferris wheel.
Yeah, I was going to say 2.5 foot, like 3 foot Ferris wheel, I feel like.
And it's got like the Hershey chocolatier logo or whatever.
In the middle, yeah.
But it had mozzarella sticks. Or they weren't actually mozzarella sticks. They were like mozzarella triangles.
Like wedges or
Wedges.
something. Yeah.
And they had the craziest cheese pull ever.
It was so good.
Like I don't have long arms, but I pulled it all the way as far as my arm could go. And it still had like more pull to go. And since we're in a restaurant, I wasn't like, here, hold this, Becky, while you walk backwards.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. So, on top was the buffalo chicken wing dip.
Buffalo chicken wing dip with chips. It was very good because it wasn't like, it was like not oily or watery. It didn't have a lot of that oil sitting on it. So it was thicker than your normal buffalo dip that you get.
And then we had like the pretzel nuggets.
Pretzel nuggets with the honey, or I think it was a spicy mustard.
Yeah,
maybe?
Spicy mustard.
And then we had chicken fingers.
And
then.
Oh yeah, we had the chicken fingers. No, I'm sorry,
wings.
Chicken wings, but they had Hershey barbecue sauce on them,
which sounds gross. Like chocolate on your wings.
Chocolate barbecue.
Yeah. And barbecue is no, you know what? It was barbecue. Now that I think about it, but it had a strong chocolate flavor.
It did.
But it wasn't like taking Hershey's syrup that you put on your ice cream and putting it on your wings. It wasn't like that.
No, I thought it was good.
It was awesome, and honestly, if we ever go back, I think I might just have an order of that.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I was skeptical, but I was like, yeah, we're here, might as well try it. Like if we don't like it, like we have other. It came with a lot of food, so it'll be fine.
Yeah. So we actually split that, which I think it was $38.
Yeah.
For that.
We could have, honestly, the whole family could have eaten off of it. We did.
Yeah. That's what ended up happening is that since the kids didn't eat their meal really, Owen was eating his mac, but like they ate the chicken fingers, they had the pretzel bites,
pretzels,
some of the chips.
The chips, yeah. Nothing healthy.
No.
Okay.
No. But I mean, that was essentially what we would have paid for our 2 meals anyways, I think.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah, it was,
to be honest.
It was like, it wasn't overpriced, but it was more expensive than I thought it was going to be.
Everything was, I don't think there was, $18 was the cheapest thing, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I think everything
like
averaged closer to like 23.
In the 20s, yeah.
Like mid-20s.
I think like some of the apps were lower, besides obviously the one we got. But like the sandwiches, the meals, the entrees were like...
They were like $20.
Yeah. So, you know.
Which is, I mean, at a park.
Yeah. I mean, it's what you're going to pay at a theme park.
And honestly, I don't, it was park prices, I would say, but also it was not, like I didn't balk at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was like, okay, that's like kind of expensive, but you know, whatever. Then we got the food and it was actually really good, which I then kind of offset the fact that it was like priced a little bit higher, because ever since we went to Disney, we've been like, nothing compares to the food that we had at Disney. Yeah. And this was the closest thing that we had to kind of compare to that as of recent. But we also haven't gone out to like super fancy places. So, you know, your Panera is not going to compare to Disney.
Probably not. Yeah, but it was a really good lunch. I think I chugged like 4 Diet Pepsis.
When we were there?
Yeah, I had a lot of Diet Pepsi because I was like, I need to get some caffeine in me.
Yeah, I think I had 1 or 2. But overall, it was the best food we had in a while.
Yeah. And then
it was a lot of fun,
the kids were like kind of crazy. At one point, we were like, here's a tablet. Please just leave us alone for 5 minutes. Yeah. We had to do it. We just...
You know what it was? Is I think we forgot... Did we forget the coloring books? We usually bring...
We forgot the
activity books.
Stickers and the activity books in the car.
That's right.
And we almost went back and got them, but then we were like, it'll be fine. And then we were like almost done. Or it was like, no, it was like halfway through. They didn't really melt down. They were just like I sat in the booth side with both of them for a while, and they were just all over each other. I think,
which is typical, one of them spilled a drink.
Yeah, I think Emmy spilled my water. Yeah. And then it was just kind of like anarchy, and I was like, I would like to eat. So here, watch this for 10 minutes while I shovel food in.
It's not something we normally do, but it's something that if we really have to pull it out of our pocket.
You got to do it. You got to do it sometimes. You know, you got to eat. Yeah. Pay good money for that food.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was actually a really good experience. And then
we had a little bit of time before the park opened at 2, so we went down to that little gift shop.
Yep, and they had a old carousel car sitting, or
like one of the sleigh one, the sleigh seat that's on a lot of carousels.
And they played around in that for a while. They were climbing under it, over it, and
so that kept them occupied.
They had some cool hats there. Yep. They had an old rail car there, I feel like, in the front that Owen kept trying to get on, or Emmy someone was trying to climb on it.
Yeah, there was.
It was like a hand cart. One of those ones you pump up and down or something. And they had
a rope around it. And we looked at it and we were like, oh, this is cool. And then we were moving on. And then Emmy, she called to us. So we turned around. And when we turned around, she was on the wrong side of the rope. And she was like, look at me. And we were like, oh, man, get out of there.
There was something behind that, too. And I can't think of what it was.
I think it was the milkshake shop. Which now that I'm like, we didn't go to that.
Why did we do that?
I don't know. You know what it was? It was by the time we should have done that after lunch, maybe. Yeah. But then they had already had so much sugar and not enough real food.
This whole trip was sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar
and then by the time we were leaving, the music had started, which we'll get to. Yeah. So there was no stopping for that. But yeah, then the park was. It was the lines actually for the park to get in, starting at 1:30. Yeah, were incredible.
And there was some kind of pre-entry thing. I don't know if it was like Disney where you if you stay at the Hershey Hotel that you can get in early or something like that, or if you have early passes, because they were letting people in before it was officially open, which I thought was interesting. And the lines were huge to get in,
so long,
huge. Disney didn't have lines like that.
Yeah, but it was crazy.
It was interesting because they actually moved pretty quick. and security was quick.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. You just kind of walked through the metal detector.
Yeah.
And then
that was it. They
really
have you open up your bag.
Yeah. I mean, so we knew, obviously, we're going with a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old that we're not going to go on the roller coasters, which is what a lot of people go to Hershey for.
Yeah.
We were strictly sticking to the kiddie rides and the trick-or-treat path.
Yep.
Because that was part of, because obviously it was September, so the water park was closed.
Which is unfortunate because actually when we got there, the water park looked very cool.
Yeah.
And I think next time we go back, we'll go when the water park is open because that looked very cool.
Yeah. But what was that? Our first ride was the carousel.
Yes, because right as you walk in, there's a carousel,
right
and they learned about carousels at Disney.
Yeah, and they love the carousel.
Even though we have one at the mall that we go to all the time. Disney,
yeah, that one's not as good though. It's small.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we ended up going on that twice that day because they love carousels now.
They do. So we did that twice. And then I don't know that we ever had a map. Did we ever have a map?
So, okay. I did get the Hershey Park app.
Oh, that's right.
Honestly, the park layout, in my opinion, is so crazy and confusing that I struggled with the map.
Well,
there's no like rhyme. Like it was just like, it's not like navigating streets, right? Where it's like north, south, east, and west. It was like,
and the terrain isn't flat.
Yeah, it's not.
That's the other thing so coming off of Disney, and then this, it's very apparent the planning that went into it. Whereas Hershey Park seems like it was kind of built on a plot of land, and they built things around it.
Yeah.
Or the way the
and
land
then expanded, and then
where Disney was like it was planned this way. They purposely did this. They flattened it, all that kind of stuff. Like there was a lot of hills.
There were a lot of hills,
and there was a lot of gaps in between where like things were. Like you walked through just like woods, what it felt like woods and a path, a paved path, but a path nevertheless.
So it was just, I mean, yeah, it was hard to like if we were like, oh, we're trying to get to this section. It was hard to figure out how to get there.
Yeah, it just it was. We spent a lot of time in the park when we were there trying to figure out where to go and where things were.
Yeah,
and there was QR codes that you could scan to pull it up on your phone, but that's only good until the phone goes to sleep, and then it goes to sleep and you got to rescan it if you're not standing by it. Then, so navigation was difficult.
Yeah,
but that being said, we did know kind of what we wanted to go to, and.
We kind of just walked till we got to the next kiddie ride.
Yeah.
And saw if the kids wanted to go.
Yeah, we kind of rode mostly the carnival-y kind of rides.
Yeah.
For the most part, and the kids loved them.
Yeah. The first like carnival ride, like after the carousel, the first ride they went on was these little cars, or like, yeah, it was like it was like a transportation thing. It literally just went in a circle, and I was gonna go on with them because one adult could go on, but then. On these ones, like adults could only sit in certain cars. And so when they got on, they wanted to get on these motorcycles. And on the motorcycles, you have to sit by yourself. A parent can't go with you. And like, they haven't been on a ride like this before. So I'm like trying to strap Emmy in. But
they had belts.
They had belts, yeah. So, but like, I couldn't do the belt so tight where she couldn't hold on to the railing. But I had to do it tight enough so she couldn't move, right?
Yeah.
And then Owen was pretty good, but... Then I had to leave them. And like Emmy just turned 2 and Owen's 3. They've never been on a ride like this before. And all I was thinking was like, they're going to freak out and try to get off and get run over. Like pulled into the ride. And I think you were pretty nervous too.
I was very nervous because I could just see her trying to get off and being like the video of her like hanging by a foot flying around.
I know. And I literally was thinking, I can quickly jump over this little fence if I need to and like hop in and grab her. But like she was also on the inside.
Yeah. Well, and this is a ride. It has a big red button for an emergency stop. Like they have these things planned out.
We were panicking for no reason.
And I want to say there was like a mat underneath it or something too.
There was, yeah. But we were both freaking out, and then they absolutely loved it. They were waving to us.
Yeah.
They were like smiling so hard every time they came around.
They loved it.
They loved it.
And the other, there were a couple that were like that too, where we just weren't able to get on.
Yeah.
But we did a bunch of those. The balloon one was closed. A couple of them were closed, which was kind of unfortunate.
The line situation on those is kind of weird because it's just like
queues.
It's really the queues themselves only allow for maybe 10 people, and the line
Max.
it was pretty crowded that day, so the lines were kind of just like weaving randomly throughout the park.
Yeah, and like you wouldn't know. Like there was a rocket ship and like a helicopter ride, and like we were standing in line for the helicopters. We thought we were, but we weren't entirely sure, and like we constantly had people coming up asking which one is this line for?
Yeah,
like,
and then the line we were in was for the spaceships.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were in the right line.
Or then I think we were like, oh, we'll go on the spaceships, like it's fine. And then Owen ended up not wanting to go on it, but then he cheered Emmy on.
Yeah, he wanted to go on a certain one,
and it filled up.
Emmy got on one with another kid, and then it filled up the one he wanted, so he just kind of boycotted the whole thing. But he did very good, and Emmy was good riding by herself.
Yeah,
in a car where there was a strange kid in it.
Yeah, and then he cheered Emmy on the whole. He was like, "Yeah, Emmy, yeah, Emmy." So yeah, well, he handled that well.
Yeah, and they wanted to do the teacups, and it just the line was just too crazy.
It was way too long. Yeah.
And the lines moved. I feel like they moved quick,
pretty quick,
because the rides were pretty.
It wasn't bad.
They weren't very long on most of them.
The problem was the kids were pretty tired, and so they just wanted to be held in line.
Yeah,
which holding a 28 pound and then 38-pound kid is
it's not easy.
Hard.
And we had a stroller,
which they like.
They could care less.
They didn't. They barely. I think Owen used it eventually, but for the majority of the time, they didn't really use it.
Yeah.
And then I think, then I went to the bathroom, and you got them lemonade.
Yeah, I got them lemonade, and then I got them 2 lemonades because Owen loves lemonade and Emmy loves anything Owen does.
Yeah.
So we got it, and Emily dropped it and somehow shattered her straw in the it landed face upside down. The straw went in, and it just shattered the straw in the cup. Luckily, there was no plastic that got in it. And I checked it very thoroughly. She didn't finish it regardless, but I just wanted to make sure she didn't swallow any shards of plastic. But it was the craziest thing. I've never seen a straw shatter before. And it might have been one of those reusable, or not reusable, but the eco-friendly ones with whatever. So I don't know. And then while we were waiting, I don't know what they were. I've never seen them before.
All over though.
But they were bigger than stink bugs. They were bigger than stink bugs, and they were red when they opened up their wings. One of them flew into Emmy's ear, straight up landed on her head and was crawling on her ear. And she didn't necessarily understand what was happening for a split second. And I could see it on her face. She was trying to figure out what was on her. And I saw it, and I batted it away, and it fell in between the crevice of the bench we were sitting on. And then she started to cry because she got scared.
But didn't she scream bloody murder too?
She did after the fact.
Oh, okay.
Not when the bug was on her, because she was so confused about what was on her. She didn't really understand it, and she was trying to comprehend it. And then once I smacked it away and I said there was a bug on her, and I grabbed her and pulled her, and we sat at a picnic table, she then was screaming. She was then screaming. It was all delayed.
I came out of the bathroom, and they told me the story, and I could just picture it all happening, and it makes me laugh every time I hear it.
Yeah, it was a little scary. I mean, it was scary for her. Owen was a little freaked out by it too.
It's better hearing it than I'm sure.
And then Owen was trying to get all the bugs after that, because he was very fascinated by him before. Then when one attacked Emily, he was they were bad. And
then he's a protective big brher, I guess.
He has a very big sense of right and wrong when it doesn't pertain to him.
Yeah, and then we started. We were on a mission to find the old fashioned cars.
Yeah, kind of like the Motor Speedway at Disney.
And took the longest way possible, but on the way we hit the candy route. Yes.
So their boardwalk, they did, I think it was, 8 stops, 10 stops?
I think 10 total. And
So basically they had trick-or-treating at the boardwalk for free. You didn't have to do anything other than get a bag. And
Emmy passed out
2
seconds before we started.
Yep. And she would have loved it.
She would have loved it.
There was like costumes and things like that. And it was creative. There was like one where like a hand would come out and you get candy from each one.
Yeah, like from like a fake
wall. There was so much free candy. Yeah, there was so much free candy. But it's cool to see the boardwalk too, because the water park was closed. So
and it all drained. So it was kind of cool to see.
Yeah. And there's like really cool splash pads, slides. I think, next time we go there, I think the kids will be old enough to do some of that.
Yeah.
And Emmy was passed out the entire time. Owen was getting a little tired, I feel like.
He was in the stroller and I carried Emmy. And it was like...
And he wouldn't say trick or treat. He wouldn't say trick or treat.
Or he would say it when we started to like move on to the next one. Then he would kind of whisper over the side of the stroller like trick or treat.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But that was a lot of fun.
We got a ton of candy.
We got so much candy.
Yeah.
We actually bought very little candy when we went there. I
we
feel
really
like
just
a lot of it was like the stuff we brought or got for free.
Yeah, we bought that thing that Emmy got, and then we bought a couple of the
special candy bars,
the like white chocolate ones. Yeah,
like a birthday cake, a lime one, strawberry.
Yeah, I don't think it was lime. It was mint.
Mint. That's right. It was white chocolate and mint.
Lime
would have been weird.
Yeah. And then after Emmy woke up, we continued our hunt for the cars, and we came across a ride that was like a big rig ride.
Yeah, they were like big rigs attached to each other.
Yeah.
And like the kids, it seated, I don't know, 3 or 4 people, kids.
Yeah.
And the kids could sit in the driver's seats.
Yeah, like in the rig.
In the rig. And then like
the adults
a parent could sit on. Yeah.
They loved that one.
A convoy.
Yeah, it was called Convoy.
And Owen's all about like cars, Pixar cars, and the Convoy brothers that are in it.
Yeah, so he was very into it.
He liked that.
Yeah.
That was really cool for him.
Yeah.
And then I think the next week we actually came across
the next ride we found it.
Which it would have been cool to go up the tower, the kissing tower, or kiss tower, whatever it is, just to see the whole park.
The kids were pretty adamant about not going on that.
But they did. Yeah, they did not want to go on that because it's cool because it goes up really high and it rotates, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's not a drop tower.
No,
there were drop towers, but that was the first thing we came across. So I think maybe they thought it was a drop tower. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately for the cars, there's the race cars and the old time cars. The race cars were not working, so
it was just the old time.
The lines were very long.
We waited. It was 45 minutes to an hour
easily,
and the ride is 45 seconds.
Yeah, it's maybe 2 minutes.
Maybe 2 minutes. Yeah, it's pretty short.
It's not very long. Disney's Motorland speed.
Yeah, as we got closer to the front of the line, I was realizing that like the people who got on were getting off very quickly, and I was like, oh man, this is a real short ride for how long we're waiting.
Which is crazy because like for as short of a ride as it was, the line was not moving very long. Owen had to go to the bathroom once, and I go take him over to the bathroom while we were in line.
We had moved like 10 steps.
Yeah, you were in basically the same spot.
But the kids did pretty good wait. I was impressed with how well they did waiting in line.
Mm-hmm. Mainly because the kids around us didn't do very good, and they were like, oh, I don't want to act like that. I feel like the kids around us were not behaving.
Yeah. But they did good. I mean, they had their moments, but overall they did pretty good.
We did go to the cafeteria.
The cafeteria, yeah.
Which was not worth it.
No, and it was like, it was like burgers, dogs. I think that we got like mac and cheese for the kids.
Yeah.
And something
there
else.
There wasn't a ton of options in the park.
And I would say it was not as good as like your typical park burgers and dogs, right? Like, and everything was separate. So like if you wanted to get fries, that was separate. Drinks were separate. And then I like ring out. Dave's like wrangling the kids and they're barely like keeping it together. Yeah. And I get back and then I'm looking, I go, Dave, all this, we got 2 hamburgers, a hot dog, a side of mac and cheese, a side of fries, 2 milks and 2 drinks. And it was like $72.
I think you said it was like $80.
It was between $70 and $80. And I sat down and was like, that doesn't seem right, does it? And like we're kind of like going through like what the max. I was like, here's what the prices were. And I didn't have a receipt. So I was like, all right, I just bought this. I'm going to go back and go to the same guy and be like, hey, I need to see my receipt because I think I got charged too much. And he was like, oh, it's been too long. I don't even remember. And I was like, what? It's literally like right here. And he was like, it's been like too many people. It's been too long since you were here. I don't think I can go back and like figure that out with you. And I was like, I just got scammed. I was so annoyed.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't let it go for a while.
Yeah.
Because
so collect your receipts.
For it was really 3 entrees, right? And 2 sides. It was like $75.
It was way too much. It was way too much. Disney doesn't even charge that.
No. And like at the time, like the lines were so crazy and long that I was just like, here, take my money. And then I'm walking the short distance to where our table was. And I'm like, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right. And so, yeah, there's no way it costs that much.
No, it's not.
So I'm pretty sure we got charged like double.
Yeah. It ended up rectifying itself later. But,
it did.
Yeah, so there was a barbecue place in there that smelled really good.
It did.
But the kids wouldn't have eaten that.
I know.
They don't like barbecue.
They really don't.
But
like
it smelled
so
good.
We should have gone there.
And
though.
there was not many like I said, there wasn't many options to really eat in the park that we saw. Not everything was open.
Yeah, because it was off season. Not everything was open.
Yeah. So I think that there were options. They weren't available to us at the time.
Yeah.
And that just seemed like the most obvious choice because we were like, we didn't know what was in the area. Even though we had a car, we didn't know where to, like, if we left the park, where we could get food, which I'm sure we could have gotten food anywhere. But
yeah.
We were on our way out.
Yeah. And then after that, we realized it was later. It was like 6:30 or 7. I think we were there till 7, right?
Yeah. And we were in the back side of the park at this point.
Yeah. And then we realized that, at a certain point, this park turns into like kind of a scary, like there's fright zones, there's haunted houses. And our, like, especially, I mean, I say especially Owen, but more so especially Owen because Emmy just hasn't like seen as much, but Owen hates stuff like that. Absolutely hates it. So like,
and there was like fog, like
like
appearing
dry
in random
eyes.
places.
And then like the lines for the haunted houses started and there was like people in like very scary costumes outside of it. And so we were
the
like,
music started playing too.
Yeah, we were like, get inside the stroller. We're going to head out and we're going to put the hood up and you guys just chill in there. We brought one 1-seater stroller, but they sit in it really well together.
Yeah, they sit in tandem in it.
Yeah, and so we were like, just chill in there together. You'll be fine. And then there was like a concert next door.
Yeah, as we were, we got to the exterior, or we got to the exit. We walked through the gift shop, and at that point it was like we were beat.
Yeah, it was like we
still hadn't been to our hotel yet.
Yeah, I think it was like literally 7.
Yeah,
or like 6:30.
Been awake over 12 hours.
Yeah. And like right next door is
12. What would it have been?
You and I got up at like 4:30.
Yeah.
It had been a long, long day.
So we were up to like almost
15 hours. I don't know, a long time, but 14 hours. Like,
but yeah,
right
there was a concert,
like a concert venue, stadium kind of thing, and the
I don't know who was playing, but
it was death metal,
very loud, and there was a lot of swearing,
and it was like the angriest music I have ever heard in my whole life. It was so angry, and there were so many swear words, and Owen was like, "This is not nice music. They are not saying nice things." And I was like, "You're right, buddy. You're totally right. We're gonna head back to the hotel. We're gonna calm down.
Yeah,
we're gonna get you out of here." And he did not like it. To this day, every once in a while, randomly, he'll be like, Remember when those people were singing not nice things?"
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I do.
And unfortunately, the hotel wasn't great.
No.
And not to go into huge detail on it, but it just was. It wasn't great.
It wasn't great.
We should have, and when after we had gotten there, in retrospect, too, it would have been worth it to pay a little bit more to go to the Hershey hotel.
Yeah.
Because it was a little bit more, but
yeah,
for what we paid for the hotel we were in,
like the hotel we paid for wasn't like.
It wasn't cheap.
It wasn't cheap.
It wasn't
by
cheap
any
by
means,
any means. No.
And then.
But it wasn't great by any means either.
No, not
it was
at all.
missing like a TV and
yeah,
they had breakfast, but I mean, who cares?
It's like a hotel breakfast.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
And Emmy decided she just wasn't going to sleep.
Yeah.
She really only sleeps well in her crib.
Mm-hmm.
And we got bumpers for the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Like you slept with Owen and he did fine. And I slept with Emmy and it was like too much space for her mind to handle. So she was rolling all over the place. And the way that our hotel room was set up, there was like a front room and then the bathroom in a little hallway and then the back room. And we purposely got that. So like after the kids went down, Dave and I could like
I was
chill.
hoping there was going to be a door because I've been to like some of those like Ramada Inns.
Oh, I knew there wasn't going to be a door only because
like
I
doors
stalked
to
the
it.
pictures. But
so I was a little disappointed in that, but that's neither here nor there.
yeah.
But like we were at one point we were just sitting in the front and like Emmy just came walking up.
Yeah, she thought it was hilarious. So then, it was all right, let's
game.
walk her back, lay her down. And then you just have to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually I like laid with her. But like even you had laid with her, I had laid with her. She finally fell asleep at like 10:30, which like how? She got zero, like she got up early. She had a bad nap.
Nothing.
I know.
It was all like, sugar.
It was all the sugar. But I was like, how are you even functioning? But the next day we went back to Hershey or Chocolate World in the morning, and then we checked out a cool car museum.
Yeah, well, we got our souvenirs. We got
that's right.
We got our hoodies.
We actually
got
bought our souvenirs
hats,
that
and
morning,
we got all our souvenirs. We didn't go back into the park
because it didn't open till 2.
Yeah, it was too late.
Yeah,
because of the amount of time it would take to get back home.
And we thought we were going to do the zoo, but then it rained.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's there's a zoo attached to it. I don't think it's a very big zoo, but you can do the zoo separate. It's all just very backwards from what we're used to with Disney, but it ended up raining.
Yeah.
And our hotel was actually right next to this really interesting car museum, and we thought, hey, that could be our backup plan if it rains.
Yeah.
And it unfortunately rained.
But we had a backup plan.
We went to this really cool car museum, and I can't for the life of me remember the name of it, but
it was something like AACA or ACAA.
Well, and it caught our attention too because they had like a Jurassic Park Explorer from like the original, which wasn't there when we went there, which was a little disappointing because that would have been cool to see. But they had it parked out front. I wonder if they like pulled it in because of the rain or something.
Maybe, I don't know. But it was cool.
But it was very cool. It had like 3 floors, counting the basement.
Yeah, 3 floors.
I guess only 2 actually had cars, but they had some really cool cars there. Owen had some really fun because he
loves it. I was actually surprised how much Emmy liked it.
That's, you know what?
She was, every time we went to a new car, she went, wow.
She, by association, I think likes cars.
Yeah.
Because Owen's all about them.
I mean, it's like you have to like cars if you live in this house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. And what we had not realized is, and it actually ended up being cheaper too because of this, or I don't know.
Yeah, it was half price.
Yeah, so it actually wasn't that much to do it either. And it certainly isn't a destination, but I mean, you could spend an hour or so there, I'd say, looking at cars and stuff like that. They had some cool activities for the kids and whatnot. But they had a die-cast car show? I don't know.
Yeah, they called it a toy show, but it was like people selling.
Yeah. It basically was
varying
like
levels of.
You had your Hot Wheels,
cars,
your Matchbox, your Johnny Lightnings, all that kind of stuff.
Your collectibles.
The collectible
Real
cars,
collectibles.
bigger scale stuff. But most of them were like die cast, like Hot Wheels size, which I think that's like 1/64th scale or something like that. And we were like, oh no, it's like this is what we dread when we go to like Target, Wegmans, anywhere that has toys with Owen, because it becomes a point of contention. And we actually did very good. At least the first floor didn't have much.
No, and he honestly wasn't interested because they were what he calls no-eyes cars.
Yeah, and he freaked out about something. Why did he freak out? He didn't want to go to the museum?
He didn't want to go in because he wanted to play
outside
in the rain.
That's right. He wanted to play in the puddles.
He wanted to play in the puddles, yeah.
That's right. And he had this huge meltdown. And I can't remember how we diffused that situation. But, I mean, it's what we've learned with these meltdowns is there's you wait it out is one way, which stinks, and it can take 30 to 40 minutes to do that. But you can also try to, what's the right word? Divert, distract.
Divert. I feel like there's another word.
There's a word that we usually use for it. And I
redirect?
Redirect. That's it.
Yeah.
I wasn't anywhere close. So we try to redirect him when he gets into like his really big fits.
Mm-hmm.
And what we found is that it usually works. You just have to do it at the right time.
Yeah.
If he's at the height of his tantrum, nothing's going to get through to him.
Yeah.
So the redirection does not work in those specific times, but during that same tantrum, when you hit it in the right spot, it does usually work.
I will say too, out in public, he's better about it. Like I feel like we can redirect him more easily than when he's comfortable and at home. He's like, I'm digging in.
Yeah.
You can't show me anything around here that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, so, that's true.
Out in public, I feel like it's like 10 minutes and then we can, I mean, this one was a little longer than 10 minutes, but we can kind of be like, okay, off to the next thing.
Yeah, this one was pretty long for a not at home one.
Yeah, but at home, like you got to wait those out and
Yeah.
just like read a book
And they
in
had some
the
cool
other
stuff.
room.
They had like buses in there. They
Yeah,
had
the
some
buses are
big
really
stuff.
cool.
Like legit buses. Like I don't know how you get those in a building.
Yeah, those are cool.
And some cool old cars, and a lot of the cars look like his eyes cars, which was cool to him because he knows that actual cars don't have eyes, but they can look like his eyes cars. And then, well, you can explain this because you were with him when it happened.
Oh, so one of the vendors had like a plastic tablecloth, and it had the Pixar Cars theme. And so he saw that and like immediately started to get
like antsy.
But he wasn't I could tell. I was like, Bud, what's going on? And then I saw it and I was like, buddy, just tell me what you're feeling. Like, tell me what's going on.
He's
like,
going through feelings right now.
Yeah. And so he kind of just like pointed at it and I was like, buddy, I don't know if they sell ice cars, which again is what he calls the Pixar cars. But I'll do a real good look. I'll go all the way around this. I'll see if they have any. And if they do, maybe you can pick one out. Okay. And they did like underneath one section in a box. Underneath they had Pixar cars. And there
wasn't a ton of them.
There wasn't a ton, but he found one that he had never had, one that we had never had before. And then
I think it was a red Ramon.
It was a red Ramon. And then Emmy picked out one too.
Yeah, she picked out one that I think we already have at Nana's house or Nene's house.
Yeah, but she liked
care.
it. And then he was like a perfect angel the rest of the time.
Because he got something.
Gosh. Yeah.
Luckily, we didn't go any further than that because there was tables of this stuff. And I'm sure they had more there.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were some because those things pull in some money.
They do.
But
we didn't pay any more for it. We paid. I was worried they were going to be like, these are $10, but they were the same prices they would be at Target. So
yeah, I thought that was interesting that they were like, it's like $5.
Yeah, I was like, oh, thank goodness. They were actually priced at $5.50, and then she's like, I'll give them to you for $5, and I was like, sold, fine. And then we were like, all right, let's go, Owen.
Yeah, I think we left soon after that. Go.
And then we got dollar hot dogs outside.
Yeah, we got dollar hot dogs.
There was I think it was another fundraiser.
We need to get food.
Yeah, because we just wanted to get on the road at that point. It was probably a little after 12, and we didn't want to stop somewhere and get a bunch of fast food that the kids weren't going to eat. And so it was $1 per hot dog. And we bought 4. And then...
they got so soggy in the rain.
They did. But Emily inhaled hers to the point where we thought she dropped it in the van. And I was like, oh, we got to find... Or the new car. It's like, we got to find this. Like, I was like very overprotective of the new car. And then we realized that she just inhaled it. So we went, she ate yours and then I got you another one. So she ate 2 hot dogs and then ate some like applesauce and
packet or something.
Packet of like.
But every once in a while she just eats.
They were so hungry. And then they pretty quickly passed out after that.
Yeah, they did.
They like were zonked for about an hour and a half. Yeah.
That was nice.
But it was fun. I mean, I really liked it. I would go back. I would go back in the summer. And I would not stay at that hotel again. I would stay at either a different option, or like the quote unquote on-site, like Hershey. It was like the Hershey Lodge or the Hershey Hotel if you can get like a good rate or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure they go up in the busy season.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're only there for like one night. So,
Yeah.
I mean, does it really matter? I don't know.
Yeah. I think the older they get, like the more different rides they're going to want to go on.
Yeah.
So.
Like this is a really cool destination. And one thing that we're always looking for is places to go that isn't like super far away. And I think, 5 hours is kind of like that, max you want to drive before it becomes like long.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've done this at Cleveland too, I want to say.
Cleveland was 4.
Cleveland was relatively close,
I
and
think
it's 90.
4,
it's very easy.
Like 3 or 4 is perfect. 3 or 4 hours, super easy.
I think we're going to go back there probably at some point to go to the zoo.
Think so, yeah.
There was something else there.
Visit some friends up there.
Oh, yeah, that. And there was a beach that we went to last time, which was pretty fun.
It was fun.
Kids would like that.
But yeah, that was Hershey Park. I'd do it again.
I would too. Maybe just tweak a couple of things, but
yeah,
it was really
good.
fun.
It was good. It got our fix.
Got our fix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm good. I'm good with traveling at this exact moment.
Me too. Yeah, I'm good. I'm ready. Just want to like hone in for the holidays.
Yeah. It kind of got us to the holidays now. Is what it really did. Because now we've got Halloween coming up here. Thanksgiving and Christmas. I think what we're gonna do is at Halloween put up our Christmas tree just to aggravate everybody.
Yeah.
The kids really want to do it.
We're not gonna decorate it. We're just gonna put it up.
Maybe.
Like we're gonna decorate it eventually.
We'll put the lights on it.
The lights are built in.
Oh, that's right. We got a new Christmas tree with lights in it.
Yeah.
That's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
The best thing ever.
I don't think we should put the ornaments on until at least December.
Why?
Because you're going to take them off and on all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's use, I'll put the tree up on November 1st. I'm just saying,
all right.
Let's just leave it nice lights for a while.
Okay. I'm good with that.
Okay.
Cool.
That's it for us.
Thanks for listening to the Spillproof podcast. As always, reach out to us at spillproofpodcast@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from you all, and we can't wait to talk with you next time.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.